Hi, welcome to Simply Country Cuisine. Well, today I promised you when we saw that delicious chicken cutlet curry that was remotely filmed in Florida, and this was the chef that did this, my sweet granddaughter Jadyn, that I promised you that you would see them in some summer videos. Well, they're here to spend vacation with Grandpa and I and Aunt Dean and Uncle Robert, and we're just super stoked about it. But Jadyn and I are going to make a cake today that it actually, oh, before I say that, I want to thank my dear friend Stephanie and Bryn for this cute apron. And yes, I'm going to whisk today. I saw this recipe and it's really piqued my interest, and I'm going to try it out. So we're going to keep our fingers crossed. Never made this before, but Jadyn and I are going to try it. Apparently back in the Depression, you couldn't get, let's see, butter was hard to get, milk was very hard to get, and eggs were very hard to get. There was a couple other items in here that I thought, it's interesting that they have them, but maybe it was something they had on their pantry, in their pantry, I don't know. But the name of this cake is called Crazy Wacky Depression Cake. And it's a chocolate cake, and it doesn't have those previous ingredients in it. So we're going to see how it works. And we don't even mix it in a bowl. There is such vivid instructions in this cake. Jadyn and I are going to hold our breath that it comes out right. Aren't we, Jadyn?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Now, it specifically says do not grease your 8x8 baking dish. But it did say in the recipe that it possibly could stick a little coming out. So all I've done is made a parchment sling that I can lift the cake out. Now, it says to place in a square cake pan, dimensions 8x8. Now this is very specific. I think we should probably keep the specificness of it. We're going to add flour, cocoa powder, sugar, baking soda, salt, and we're going to whisk it into the pan. So shall we get started?
Yes, ma'am.
Jadyn, I need 1.5 cups of all-purpose flour. Could you fill this one up first and level it off, and then fill the other one up for me? So while she's doing that, Jadyn and I are having a lot of fun cooking together this summer. She and a little friend made a lava brownie yesterday, and they learned how to temper eggs. And what do you think about that?
That was fun to make, and it was really good.
It was really good. We were so sorry that you weren't here to enjoy that with us. It was gooing out all over the place. Perfect. Now, again, we're dumping it straight into the baking dish. So we have 1.5 cups of all-purpose flour. All right, now we're going to dump in, Jadyn, if you would like to dump in 1 cup of granulated sugar, just dump it in the cake pan here, sweetheart. Perfect. I'm just gonna kind of layer it out. I hope I'm not messing the cake up. Now we're putting in 1/4 cup of cocoa powder, 1 teaspoon of baking soda. Dump that one in, okay. And then it says 1/2 teaspoon of salt. You can take the lid off of that. That's the one I use. Just unscrew the lid. Now that we have all of our dry ingredients into our cake pan, this is one of the interesting things about it. We're going to whisk it in the cake pan. Maybe this was the first dump cake, I don't know. But we're real excited about it. And I'm going to whisk as carefully as I can without throwing all of the ingredients out. Now, I'm going to have to kind of smooth it out a little bit because this next step, it's interesting. Not that this wasn't even interesting. I'm just real curious. Who in the world in the Depression come up with this idea?
That is a very good question.
I know. All right. Now what it tells us to do is we have to make 2 small holes with our finger and 1 large hole. Okay, so I'm going to make 1 small hole here with this finger, 1 small hole here with this finger, and I'm going to make 1 large hole right here. And that's the weirdest thing you've ever seen, Jadyn?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, I know. 1 tablespoon of white vinegar. And I'm going to pour it in 1 of the small holes. 1 teaspoon of vanilla in the other small hole. Then it says to pour vegetable oil in the large hole. I'm going to have to make it a little larger because I don't see where all that's going to go. Because there's 5 tablespoons of vegetable oil. I went ahead and pre-measured it. So we're going to put the vegetable oil here. Wow. Okay, and then, which is really weird, it says, then you pour water over everything. We have 1 cup of water, and we're going to pour it over everything. And then it says mix everything together. So why did we do that? I don't know. So now I'm mixing everything together in this pan. And it said, don't worry. It says, don't worry if you have some lumps. Just don't over mix it because your cake gets rubbery. So we're just going to make sure everything is combined. And we don't want to over mix it because it says the cake will get rubbery. I'm just going to be really amazed if this cooks. This apparently is what it looks like when we're getting ready to put it in the oven. Now we're going to bake it at 350 for 30 minutes or until the toothpick comes out clean. So we'll put this in, and then while it's baking, I'll clean this up, and we're going to make a nice chocolate frosting to go on top of it. Hi, welcome back. Now our cake, our crazy, wacky depression cake, has got about 20 minutes left in the oven, and we're going to go ahead and make our frosting. Now in this pan, non-stick pan, I have added 3 tablespoons of butter. I'm going to add 1/4 cup of milk, which I think is very interesting. They didn't have milk for the cake or butter for the cake, but they had it for their frosting, which is 3 tablespoons of cocoa powder. Cook it and mix it until smooth. So, and it shouldn't take but just a second or two. Okay, it's smooth. Now I'm going to remove it from the heat. So we'll add a teaspoon of the vanilla extract. I'm now going to add, it says the recipe calls for 2.5 to 3 cups. Let's start with 2 cups first and see what that looks like. Remember, we're using powdered sugar here, so the liquid, our liquid ingredient, Jadyn, it dissolves the powdered sugar really fast, honey. So we have 2 cups of powdered sugar in here, right?
Right.
I don't know, Jadyn. I think we need the extra half a cup.
Yeah.
That's 2.5 cups. I think we're going to need 3 total.
Yeah. It's very liquidy.
Mm-hmm. This would make a total of 3 cups of powdered sugar we've added in here. Yeah, that's better. It's starting to thicken up some.
Yeah. It looks like actual frosting.
It looks like actual frosting now. You're right.
Looks really good.
The cake will come out in about 15 more minutes. We'll let it cool, and then we're going to frost it. And then we have a very, very special guest as our taste tester today. All right, well, this is my very special tasting guest. This is Joshua. Remember he did the s'mores when we were in Florida? Well, he is going to be the official taste tester. And we will go with what Joshua says, because we have not tasted this cake yet. So, Josh, would you like to take a bite of the cake, please? Yes. A small bite would be helpful to you.
It's really delicious.
Is it? Well, tell Aunt Dita that. Do you really like it?
I really like the cake. It tastes really good.
Let me, Grandma, try.
It has lots of flavor.
It does taste pretty good, but I will say it has a little bit of a bland taste to it. It's not as, it's sweet because of the icing. But truly, I do think milk, butter, and eggs are the way I'm going to be making my cakes. You cannot taste the vinegar in it. You cannot taste the baking soda. It's light and airy. But I'm going to say this. When I took it out of the pan, it was a little bit rubbery, so I must have mixed it a little bit harder than I should have. But all of the ingredients didn't seem to mix in quite as well. If I were to do this again, I would probably use a smaller whisk that I could get into the corners a little bit better. It was a fun experiment, fun recipe to try, and I felt so blessed having my two beautiful. Jadyn, come in. You want to take a bite, kiddo?
Yes, I would love to. Oh, good.
It is good though, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
But you can taste completely different. And I suppose back in the Depression when you didn't have any dessert, this would have been a jump for joy, an idea to have for a dessert. Give it a try with your family. It was kind of fun. It was kind of an experiment. And we enjoyed doing it. And I sure enjoyed having my babies here with me to enjoy this. And remember, always to subscribe, like, and share these videos if you enjoy them. And join us on Facebook page on Thursday for our contest. And don't forget, if you haven't got a place to worship, join us at Glad Tidings Leander, Assembly of God, the church on the hill across from the post office. Or as I was corrected the other day, across from Chick-fil-A. But that's okay. It was funny. We would love to have you come worship with us. And again, give us a try. Do something fun with your grandkids this summer. When you have a chance to be with them, make memories. Buying them a bunch of stuff doesn't really matter, does it, Josh?
No.
It's the memories that count, doesn't it?
Yes.
We love you. Bye-bye.